Good afternoon, everyone. It's August 8th, 2025. Welcome. And I'm going to be speaking about pattern recognition within the human and why it's important for you to, it's a guide from within instead of moving on the outside world, because a lot of people, they move like it's a jungle and they just grab what they can. And you have a guide within, so use it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, and let's do it. All right, so at its core, pattern recognition is how the mind makes sense of the world. Okay, so that's what it does. It makes sense of the world. It shows you the look at it like a blueprint, a map. And when you use this guide, this pattern recognition, you can see things. So it's a brain ability to notice shapes, behaviors, emotions, events, energy patterns you can see in people. And it's what helps you to recognize familiarity. So that's important to predict outcomes. I use it all the time. Like it's my basis. I've been using it since I was little. And also it makes meaning from what might otherwise be chaotic. Like you might see a scenario and you're like, good Lord, what's going on? So it'll give you, when you see the pattern, you can say, oh, okay, all right. For example, when you meet somebody someone new, the brain picks up on the body language, the tone, the facial expressions, and you start to gauge from this. Everybody does it. Everybody. I do it. You do it. Maybe you don't even know that you do it, but you do it. And you kind of look and say, am I safe? Are they worthy? Are they, not, trustworthy is what I mean, not worthy people, but trustworthy. And that'll pick up, and your pattern will recognize that. And when you'll also notice like repeating emotional patterns with yourself and people, like always pulling away when things get close, like you kind of like pull away. Well, you're doing that for some, it's a pattern within you. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it's a deeper self-reflecting, like saying, pay attention, let's say. So that's an example, but let's go to number 2. The inner pattern recognition, and it's going beyond logic, way beyond logic. Like outer pattern recognition is about survival. So what that means, your outer pattern recognition is looking at the outside world, okay? And you have that, like you're not going to cross the street when a bus is coming. Avoiding danger, navigating the world. And inner pattern recognition is about truth and transformation. So that's how you can gauge that. In the process, you'll be noticing like this happens, it happens to not everyone, but many people. When your soul starts to shrink versus when it starts to expand. The feeling, the pattern recognition. Is it like you're in an environment and you kind of like your soul feels, I don't know about this, but then you're in a really incredible environment and you're like, yes, and it's expanding. So these repeated lessons by noticing all these different pattern, feeling, you'll start to recognize those, and then you'll act upon those. But also relationships, life cycles, you start to notice a pattern within that. So it's very important. Also, your body reacts to certain environments. When it comes to environments and people, my pattern recognition is A++++. And I can be in an area that just, it either expands me or it retracts everything inside of me, an environment. So it's important. Emotions always show up before self-sabotage. Think about it. Like you're like doing something and you're actually self-sabotaging yourself and you don't even know it. And you have to look at that and you have to get down to what, like why am I doing this? Like I had a sister-in-law, my ex-husband's sister, who used to stop and she thought she ran over an animal and she'd get out of the car and go look, but she never ran over an animal or anything. And she would do that periodically. And one time we were talking, I said, why do you think you do that? Like, what is it? Get down to the reason. And we talked about it. I don't want to, share what she said, but she has a little bit of anxiety. And when the anxiety would peak, she noticed that those urges, like she felt she ran something over, she had to stop the car and go and look and get out of the car and look. Her anxiety was at the peak. So we talked about it. And I said, well, see, there you go. So when you start your anxiety's high, you know why you're doing those things. So the thing is that the signs of pattern recognition, it's like a synchronicity and it guides your path. Your inner awareness, that inner awareness is really called your intuition. That's what pattern recognition is. That's what I call it. And, people get kind of a little bit funny about when you say intuition, they think automatically like psychic. I mean, you can be psychic. What's wrong with being a psychic? It's an intuition. Okay, you can call it intuition. If you have a high intuition, that's great because that means that you're going to be more alert and aware of patterns, which are going to help you. And the way to look at it actually what it is, it's an intelligent inner tracking system. That's what it is. So go into it because it's your best tracking system, intelligent tracking system of all time. And a lot of it comes from your heart, which is there's a brain there. So it reveals your deeper blueprint over time. So enhance it and take it on. So how does it work from the human perspective, the pattern recognition? It works like this: input, awareness, recognition, and response. So it's those 4 pillars. And your system is constantly receiving input, always. And when it gets stronger, you're just always seeing patterns. Like sometimes my dog has a really strong pattern. He does the same thing when we get out of the car. He runs to the side of our yard next to our house. And then I want to hurry up and get in the house. So I go up, I take the back stairs up. I'm doing things and stuff. And then all of a sudden he starts just, crying and barking like something's killing him. And he does it every single solitary time. So he has a very strong pattern, but I notice it. So those are the 4 pillars: input, awareness, recognition, and response. And your system is constantly receiving the input. Your thoughts, your feelings, your body sensations, your memories, your energies, your emotions, they're all input. They're coming in. But most people stop the input and they react and they get nuts and unstable. And you don't want that. That's why the pattern, you have the blueprint and the map and it's a pattern recognition. Everybody has it. The world has it. The universe uses it. If we didn't have a pattern, we'd have no balance. So But they start to react, and then they get out of control. And they become unstable. So they distract from maybe something that's trying to show them something good. So don't pause from it. Recognize the pattern and what is beneath that experience. Like, what is it trying to show you? So, example, when you pause, you start saying, oh, I always feel this fear when I'm about to expand. Like you're going to do something that kind of a little bit scares you, but excites you at the same time. And then you start to have that pause. And so you think, oh, okay, yes, it's because I'm going to be expanding. So you move on. But it could be something like this, or, every time I portray myself, my body, my neck starts to tighten up. So there's a pattern. See that pattern. It'll come up. And then once you see the pattern, you can interrupt it or you can align with it. And these are the keys. When you recognize a negative pattern, you have to break the cycle. So you break it. And when you recognize a healthy pattern, you build from it. You align from it. So that's the way how you handle these patterns in your life. And then why is it important to awaken your inner pattern recognition? Okay, well, first it brings clarity and to any confusion right off the bat. When life feels like it's chaotic or the pattern recognition, what it will do is it'll help. It'll have a meaning to it instead of the jungle vibration. It's, oh my God, what am I going to do? You start seeing the why behind the what. Why am I doing this? I'm a why person. I'm always asking why? Because I want to know. So what used to be pain could be a lesson too. It could be a lesson, and you take that on and you see it. And then what used to be random becomes a map, and you see the pattern and you go with the flow or you don't go with the flow. So I think that it brings a lot of clarity to yourself. And then two, it breaks unconscious loops. That loop that just goes forever and ever and ever without any awareness of your inner patterns, and you repeat generational cycles, past traumas, reactive behaviors. You're just on an autopilot all day long. I mean, they're just hitting their head against the wall all day long. So you get into the pattern recognition so you can go inner and start to find out, why am I doing these things? And then also it awakens this loop, and you can take back your life. 3, it aligns you with your unique path. And everyone has their own rhythm. Everybody does. It's like your print, your fingerprint. Everybody has a unique fingerprint. And it's designed for your inner pattern. So you recognize, you actually can, one thing I notice when you get very good with your pattern recognition, you stop copying people. That's like you're no longer looking out there at the jungle. You're looking inside and you say, I want to be unique. I want to have my own pattern, my own path. And you stop copying people. You stop chasing noise. And then you start listening to a deeper signal within. So that's number 3. Number 4, and I'll put this down below so then you guys can look at it and read it if you like. It deepens trust in your inner guidance. The more patterns you notice within, the more you realize you already know what's right for you. And this is so important. This creates your spiritual maturity. It does. And whether you're a Catholic, you're a Christian, you study Kabbalah, or you're a Muslim, whatever that is, okay? So it brings on a spiritual maturity. And then you stop asking permission and you start walking this conviction. I know, like I know, like I know. And it's your unique path. So that's what pattern recognition does. And my final thought is the pattern really is a teacher. And it's beautiful, right? And it's your teacher, it's your guide. Use it. You have it, so use it. And your pattern is your path. That's your unique fingerprint. So use that, because everybody's different. We're all different. We all have our uniqueness and what have you. And that's what pattern recognition is. It's your unique path. And when you awaken to it, life starts to feel better. It starts to sparkle more. You're not fighting against yourself any longer. As well, there's a stillness in your rhythm. When you get with your pattern recognition, there comes a unique rhythm. It feels right. And you're no longer questioning, should I not? You're like, yes, of course I'm going to do it. Because you know why? I know my pattern. I know I'll be good at it. Or, you know what? I know to take that way because my gut tells me to, or my pattern tells me to. And the rhythm really becomes the wisdom. That's really how it works. So that's it for today. Thanks. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye.